Oh boy. It's always so sudden when it just pops up like, okay, you're live, go, 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 go. I'm like, oh, okay. Excuse me. So good morning. Hi, Lena. Sorry, my dog is right here. I'm going to give it a second, wait for a few people to tune in. But yes, hello, Lena. Hello. And I actually need to pull this up on my channel so I can interact with the chat because I'm doing this on my phone. All right, give me 1 second. Da, da, da. Oh, here we are. Okay, make sure this is muted. All right, that is loading up, but hello so far, everybody who's in here so far. Good morning. I am very, very tired. I am actually, I've been filming a short film all weekend and we're filming again today. So I had already talked to my director and let him know, like, I've got a live stream that Sunday. I can't be there at like, 6 a.m. or anything. So push the time back, please. So I'm already in like costume and makeup. I'm like ready to head out the door. So we're probably going to keep this limited to about an hour today. Unfortunately, but I'm hoping in future months, as we kind of get these live streams going, it'll continue to, I can always just make sure that I have the full morning open to go for as long as you guys want. So good morning. Let's see. Okay. I do have questions that I got in advance. Not a huge amount, but I do have a few to go through. So, oh, there we go. Okay. Hey, Kara. And I got it right this time. Kara. I'm still learning this format of the live stream. So now this is the first time doing it on my phone. So I'm like, oh, I'm seeing it like pop up on my screen here. And there's a little bit of a delay on my laptop, but that's okay. All right. Well, first of all, how was everybody's Ostara yesterday? Happy Ostara. Mine was, I didn't do much. Like I said, let's see, Friday I was filming we were working for about 16 hours. And then yesterday was only 12 hours. Today's probably going to be another long one. As you can hear, my voice is a little bit like rough right now. But I was supposed to go hiking with my coven on Thursday, but it ended up raining all day. So we postponed that. We'll probably do something this week for it. And then yesterday, I just didn't have time. But I will, I did have a moment actually, because where we were filming the first half of the day, there was this we were filming outdoors. So that was nice. That was really nice. And it was bright and sunny, even though we were in Daly City. And Daly City is known as like the foggy city. So it was like the one day a year that it wasn't absolutely blanketed in fog, which don't get me wrong, I love me some fog, but it was just kind of nice that, oh, for the spring equinox, it is bright and sunny. It's gorgeous out. So that was nice. And there was this beautiful lavender bush. And so the place we were shooting at, I asked the owners, I'm like, can I have some of that? And so I took a few clippings off of there and I put them out on my altar when I got home and yeah. Okay. Rainy in Seattle. Yeah, that sounds about right. Good morning, Amona. Let me know if I'm pronouncing any names wrong. Like me know, please. I always feel so bad. All right. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat. Like I said, we're going to hang out till about 9. And morning, Vanessa. And then otherwise we will, I forgot what I was saying. I'm going to hang out till about 9. Sorry if there's a little noise in the background too. My boyfriend just woke up. So he's probably going to be out making coffee in just a second. He's kind of loud in the morning because he's clumsy and he's like banging cabinets and stuff, but he knows I'm streaming, so we'll see what happens. Okay. Let's start. So one of the questions that I got was a pretty common one. It was somebody asking, they said they can't stand the smell of essential oils, which I get. They can be very strong. Even sometimes with a carrier oil, they can be really strong. And some people are just a lot more sensitive to smells, or like if you're pregnant, I know that smells for pregnant women are just like really intense. So I understand some people just do not want to work with essential oils. totally fine. They want to know if there's a multi-purpose oil they can use for anointing candles and other things. And yes, absolutely. The number one that I know I use is olive oil. That's a great one to use. Another one that I would also recommend is grapeseed oil. The reason for grapeseed oil is because that one's also a really good carrier oil for essential oils. You don't have to mix any essential oils into it, just use it on its own. And then of course, you never have to work with oil if you really don't want to. You can also always anoint with moon water, new moon water, spring water, river water, sea water, whatever works for your purpose. You don't have to use, some people use their own saliva to anoint candles with. So you don't have to work with oils if you don't want to. They can get a little messy. Also, if you really feel like you need to work with the essential oil, but you can't stand the smell, just dilute the hell out of it. Just really water that down with your carrier oil. So that is my recommendation. Good morning, babe.
Morning.
That's Mikey saying good morning. So let's see. This thing is slowing down my laptop. No questions in the chat yet, but that's fine. Take your time. And if you don't have questions, you just want to hang out and chat or tell me about your Ostara, or you just want to read what other people are saying, totally fine. I just always get am I being quiet for too long? Okay, let me move on to the next question. Actually, so there were several personal questions in here. Not like personal, but like questions about the channel and things like that. Let me do those. And actually, let me answer this one now because it let me answer that real fast. My Hogwarts house is Ravenclaw. I've taken so many of those tests. I do get Gryffindor a lot. And there was actually one that was really cool that I found that you could get just one of the houses or you can get a combination of two, and I got Gryffindor. So that makes sense. But most of the time I get Ravenclaw. So you knew it. What is yours? Are you also Ravenclaw? I never responded to your email, but I quit my, hey Heather, it's been a while. It's good to see you. I see you said you quit the job, but I see the smiley face. So it's gotta be a good thing, especially I know the context of the situation. So please send me an email with a full update because I would love to hear all about it. Yep, I thought so. I see that. Also Ravenclaw. But yeah, Heather, send me an email. I'd love to hear what's going on with that situation. I'm super excited. Okay, good. Okay, I look forward to it. Speaking of emails, I do have a few that I got like Wednesday, Thursday, and I was just, the short film that I'm working on this weekend is with an old college friend, and so I don't just act in these. He also gives me, it was funny because especially with this one, he was straight up like, I just want you to focus on acting. Just that's it. I've got someone to do your makeup, and there was nobody to do my makeup. That's why it's already on. And then, he gives me a list of, hey, I need this, and that prop. Can you borrow this? Can you fetch that? Which I don't mind. I love getting really involved, but I was just slammed with stuff to do this week. So I haven't gotten back to emails yet. That was my ultimate point of that whole story. But I'm on it. I'm gonna get to those emails soon. But somebody did ask if I could share my acting stuff with you guys. They said, I'd love to see what you're in, which I love, don't get me wrong. But, so the reason I'm holding off on that, I probably will at some point in the future. But right now, I'm at a weird place where I'm like, I have a very unique last name. I'm like the only person in the world with my full name. So I'm not hard to find. I'm really not. And when you search my full name on Google, you find all of my acting stuff. And like my personal Instagram. And so it's just I'm not sure, like when I published the Magic Journal on Amazon, I put Tiffany H, so just my last initial. And I wasn't sure, because I wasn't sure if I wanted people to, Googling my full name, come up with the channel and things related to the channel. I will get to that point eventually. And at that point, I will go ahead and just say, screw it. Here's my last name. Here's all my acting stuff. Because I don't go by a stage name. Like I said, I have a unique name, so I like to use that for acting. So someday I will share it. That's my answer to that question. Okay, let's see here. I need some coffee really fast. I labeled these tea with Tiffany, but I'm finding more and more that on these Sunday mornings I just want coffee, so I might need to change it. But I love alliteration, so I might just leave it as tea. Tell me what you guys have been up to in the chat. I would love to read those. And okay, let's see. Been struggling with staying focused while I try to read, manifest, meditate. Any tips, herbs, spell work to help? That's actually a great question, Vanessa. I'm trying to think off the top of my head because I know that I wanted to research into meditation and focus for people with ADHD. That's actually something I want to do a full video on because I know that's a struggle. I was actually like medicated for ADD for a while when I was in my teen years. I don't know if it was an accurate diagnosis because I had other things going on, but I do kind of understand the frustration. What can I say for now? I'm so sorry, but I want to say right now, I haven't done enough research into it yet to give you a solid answer. But I will get that. It's Mikey in the background. I will get that video researched and made within, let me say within the next month. Like I said, I'm a little bit behind on my video requests, but I feel like that's a really important one, especially because you just asked it, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I don't have an answer for you right now. But I actually want to speak with witches that do have issues with ADHD or ADD or just trouble in general. I also know people with chronic pain have a lot of issues with that, maintaining that kind of focus. So let me get back to you on that one. I'm so sorry I'm not answering it right now. It's a wonderful question, and I just want to make sure I take the time and give it, its due diligence that it deserves, because it's an excellent question. You okay?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you guys heard that. Mikey tripped on the stairs. He's okay though. Okay, Kara, let's see. Have you ever worked with the Fae or have any tips for doing so? It's something I've been considering. For once you start, you're pretty much in it for life, so I'm trying to be cautious. I have not worked with the Fae. This is one that's highly debated because, like you said, it's one that I've also heard when you're in it for life, which is why I haven't even committed myself to any deity, because I'm just like, what if I pick the wrong one? What if they don't like me? What if I change my mind later? Which with deity, it's a little bit different, of course. With Fae, that's the other thing. There's a lot of witches, particularly if you speak with witches from Ireland, they're going to tell you, do not work with them at all. Not everybody from Ireland believes that, of course, but because I'm generalizing here. But I mean, in a lot of Celtic folklore and things, they say just don't open communication with the Fae. I'm not necessarily giving you that advice, but it is one opinion that's out there. And I mean, I can tell you the tips that I know off the top of my head, which is that, you put out offerings to establish a communication. You treat, sorry. Lena.
Stop it.
Lena. She's guarding our patio door. What was I saying? Lena, please, baby girl. Good girl. Treat nature with respect. So sorry for the interruption. Treat nature with respect. I know one of the things is you can receive gifts from them. But one of the things, if you received food, you never eat anything that they gift you. That's one of the things. Never eat anything that they gift you, and never say thank you. It's supposed to be very disrespectful. I know that there are enough people who work with the Fae that I wouldn't say like don't work with them. I wouldn't necessarily say that, although I can't say I know enough about it to go be like definitely work with them or anything. Lena, they're saying hi to you. She's guarding. She's very intensely focused right now. I want to, Astaria Sen is one channel. She works a lot with the Fae. She knows a lot about them. I want to direct you to her channel. She's also very sweet. I love her videos. So check her out. I will put a link in somewhere at some point. I gotta look at how this streaming thing editing I'll put it in the description later. I'll make a note for myself to do that later. But she knows a lot about the Fae. I don't know. I can't say that once you're in it for life. Because I don't know enough. I'm sorry. Okay, perfect. I'm like, I hope that will suffice as an answer. But yeah, I've heard, I will say I've never heard, I know there are warnings out there, but I will say I've never heard like anybody who's worked with the Fae say I had a terrible experience. This bad thing happened to me. Then again, that's my anecdotal evidence. That's not, that doesn't cover everybody's experience. Okay. I did have a question asking if I was going to do more book reviews. So I will tell you now, yes, I'm just a little bit behind. I had some fun things that I wanted to cover. And then, like I said, I'm a little bit behind on video requests. So I wanted to start getting caught up on those. I was trying to do one book review a month. And why didn't I do one? I'm trying to remember why I didn't. There was some reason, like solid reason why I didn't do one. But short answer, yes, I'm going to do more book reviews. I think next week I will try to do a book review, and I will do the video on meditating with ADHD. I will try to do those. Let me get a little more coffee. And back it with water because my mouth is dry. Okay. Yeah, in the meantime, while I'm looking over the preset questions that I got through email and messages and stuff, feel free to talk in the chat. Let me know what you guys have been up to, how your Ostara was. For those of you that are just coming in, welcome. Let me know how your Ostara was. If you didn't celebrate, that's fine too. Just how have you been? Are you guys working on any witchy projects or rituals, spells, just anything in general? Okay. Do you intend on expanding the channel further, such as starting a Patreon, teaching classes, or taking on apprentice witches? So, yes and no. I do want to expand the channel further, especially because we're almost at 1,400 subscribers, which, so excited. Okay, but I will do a Patreon. That's one thing that I'm actually kind of working on right now. I'm trying to figure out how the tier system would work. I'm very much of the opinion, like, if you guys are going to pay for something, I want to make sure it is absolutely worth what you're paying for it. So I'm kind of working out the tier system and what the rewards would be, what you get for each tier. I'm still working that out, but I do plan on doing a Patreon. I did a little bit of research into some websites where you can kind of pre-record videos for classes and then interact with like the students in the forums, because I think that would be something that would be really fun to do. But it's also sort of like, well, I'm already kind of teaching classes by like putting out the videos I make, so I don't know if I want to be like, hey, pay for this, even though you can get something similar over here for free. Like, I just might take like one of my topics and then go that I've done in a video, been like, there's the introduction. Now let me go even further in depth. So it's something that I might do in the future, but I'm feeling it out. As for taking on apprentice witches, that's probably not something I will ever do, only because I don't know. I don't want to be one person's only instructor. That's part of it. I never want to be anybody's single source of information. Just because I have an apprentice doesn't mean that they're not gonna, just because somebody's studying just with me doesn't mean they're not also reading other things. But I think it's very important to always get your information from multiple sources, come to your own conclusions, be skeptical, ask questions. And yeah, just always have multiple sources where you're getting your knowledge from. I should never be anybody's be all end all when it comes to magical information. Obviously, I don't know anything. I do know things. I don't know everything, I should say. Not anything. But it's also very, very time consuming. It's very time consuming to tutor, just like do one-on-ones with people. And I don't want to take someone on, be like, oh yeah, let's do this. And then just not have the time, I would feel really bad. It's a big commitment. So I probably won't do that. But the other two, yes. Let me check the chat. Sorry, let me go back to that page. Hey, Amber, good morning. For Ostara, I just did some spring cleaning, planted some flowers and herbs, cleaned up my rose bushes. Very nice. That's perfect. Keeping it simple. Well, you still got a lot done, though. I'm like keeping it simple, but it's like, spring cleaning can be pretty intense, actually. I was actually lucky. I cleaned up my altar, finally. But I didn't have to do much for my Ostara spring cleaning just because normally with that, I go through everything and I get rid of a bunch of stuff, but I did that before I moved. So this year I was like, I don't know. I don't have a bunch of work to do for once. But it almost made me feel like part of my celebration is gone. But that's also kind of been this year as a whole. I feel like part of my celebration of every Sabbath and every kind of holiday has been a little, with COVID and everything, like I couldn't go out and do all of the Christmassy things I usually like to do, and all of the Yule things, all of the Samhain things I like to do in Halloween, so I'm not too surprised that my Ostara also feels a little like, oh, I didn't do as much this year as I normally do. It's also just the timing. Filming this weekend, you guys, I'm so tired right now. I'm so tired. I hope it's not obvious. But I am just like absolutely drained. But I feel bad complaining about it because my director, night before last, he didn't get to sleep until like 5 a.m. I'm pretty sure he got about 2 hours of sleep. But he was more energetic than I was yesterday, so I don't know what he is on, but... So the other question, I have 3 more questions that I got in advance. So if you guys have more, let me know in the chat. You talked about doing more series, like how the Rune series was its own thing. What are you planning next? Next, there is, oh my gosh. Sorry, my brain just went absolutely blank because I do have another series. Let me get back to that. How did my brain just go? I did say I was very tired. I do have more series planned. I'll get back onto the book reviews. Oh, that was it. My brain is like, okay, I'm okay. You guys, I'm okay. Okay. I want to do an interview series. So I have been talking to a couple of witches that are involved in the community, and like one of them has her own channel and one of them has just started a channel, but she's been running a podcast for a while. So I've been discussing with them, doing some interviews and like recording it and giving it to them so they can do what they want with it. But of course, for me, I'll post on my channel, but I would love to like expose you guys to other content creators in the community. I think that would be a lot of fun and would be very useful, especially because like one of them, for instance, she covers a very kind of specific area of witchcraft that I don't personally have any experience in. So if you guys are interested in that, it's something that I could research and give you a little bit of information, but I can't teach you in depth the way that she could. So I'd love to like direct you guys, kind of give you an introduction on her and what she's all about, and then direct anybody who's interested over to her channel. So an interview series, but it's not going to be like a weekly thing. I don't currently have any plans for another, like, we'd release this every Wednesday sort of deal. But that's kind of the next plan. I can't believe that just like blinked from my mind. And then that's it for the more personal, like channel related questions. So the rest of these are witchcraft related. Good morning, good morning. Thought Crimes. Good morning, Thought Crimes. I'm glad you like the rune series. I really enjoy doing those. It's something I've been considering expanding on too, and doing even more involving the runes, not like as a constant thing, but just I want to do a book review on one of my favorite runes books, and maybe just do kind of like I might go on video and do like a reading for myself to kind of give you guys like a better idea of like a how to. I mean, I did that with the introduction rune video, but I think you can kind of see it in action more as like an example type thing. So, oh, Kara, you don't even know how excited I am. Do you have any paranormal stories or experiences? Oh, yes. Actually, Captain Kirky in the chat knows I love swapping stories about this. Yes, I do. Oh boy, I'm gonna try to not take up the last half hour of this live stream just with stories. So let me think of my favorite story. Actually, I don't even need to think of it. I already know what it is. But I will say I grew up in like a historical area of my city, and there's a lot of buildings there that were like that are still kind of the original, or at least it's the original foundation that was built in that area. And there's there's a bar in there that still has a tunnel in a section of it in the ground. There's some plexiglass over it, but you can see it running down, and it goes all the way across town, like out to this canyon area. And that was how they would bring in bootleg alcohol during Prohibition. It's a very old area. And they still, kept a lot of these areas intact. And so my elementary school that I actually went to was very freaking haunted. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of stories, but I was exposed a lot to hauntings and paranormal things as a kid because of that school. And also because my mom started showing me horror films when I was probably way too young to be watching them by most people's standards, but I was fine. I didn't really have nightmares or anything. So she was like, okay, if she's enjoying it, then we'll keep watching. So I was always kind of interested in that sort of thing. But my mom was actually worked at my elementary school for a short period of time. So she had some stories. And there was a period of time where I would just walk around at lunchtime and like follow. I was a weird kid. Okay. I would follow the janitors around and have them tell me stories about like their night shifts at that school. So I did have a couple of my own experiences there, but I'll give you my favorite one. I was 12 years old, and I was staying with my family in a cabin in Lake Tahoe, in like January or February or something. It was snowing out. It was really cold. A lot of fun. So I went it was my sister, our parents, and two family friends, this couple that my parents were good friends with. And we stayed at this cabin where it's one of those layouts where you walk in on the ground floor, and it's the kitchen, the living room, there's a bathroom, all that. And then you go downstairs to get to the bedrooms. That's where my parents and their friends were staying in two of the bedrooms down there. And then from that main floor, you can also go upstairs to a loft. There were more beds in the loft. So my sister and I stayed up in the loft. Well, the night we got there, we arrived at like midnight. Everybody stayed up a little later, probably until like 1, and then passed out. Yeah, we all like went to bed around then. Well, I laid in bed and I could not get to sleep. I just couldn't. I think I was like excited to be on vacation. This loft area was really cool. But I just couldn't get to sleep. So I decided to go ahead and get up, take a shower, and go to bed. Well, the living room area was still pretty warm. The fire wasn't like blazing anymore, but there were still embers in there, the heater going, you know, it was still pretty warm in there. And so I came downstairs from the loft, went into the bathroom that was kind of tucked underneath the loft. It's kind of hard to describe the layout. Took a shower, no big deal. I come out of the bathroom and now I'm kind of like, all right, I'm ready for bed. But I hear this voice speaking to me up from the loft area. And I, of course, naturally, I assume it's my sister, but I can't understand a word she's saying. And so I kind of step out so I can just barely kind of see the railing of the loft. And I'm like, what? Just my innocent little 12-year-old me. And this voice repeats what it said before a little louder. And this is where I was like, oh, that's not my sister. That's not Danica. Hi, Lena. The voice was not my sister's voice. It's really hard to describe. It wasn't male or female. It was very like androgynous. It was almost just this like, it's really weird to describe. Because the other thing about it was I couldn't understand what it was saying. But it wasn't as if, it was almost like dream speak. Like I just couldn't understand what it was saying. I felt like I should understand, like it wasn't speaking a different language. It wasn't, it just wasn't going into, like it wasn't, my brain wasn't processing it basically, is what it seemed like. And I was just like, but I could tell it repeated the same thing it said before. And at that point I'm like, I don't think that's Danica. So I stepped a little further out and I went, Danica? And again, it repeated the same thing, but it was very neutral. Like it wasn't malicious. It didn't feel malicious. It just scared me because I was 12 and alone in a new place and I was the only one awake. And there's this disembodied voice speaking to me from where my sister is supposed to be. And so I ran back into the bathroom because it scared the hell out of me. And I was just like, I made some faces in the mirror to myself to calm myself down, make myself laugh a little. And then I was like, okay, I just gotta go back to bed. And then I walked out. And as soon as I came out, like the room was warm, like I said, I walked out and I just hit a wall of absolute cold. And I like lost my shit at that point. And I went running downstairs and I woke my dad up and that was it. I mean, we stayed there for another few days and nothing else happened. Although at that point, once I calmed down, like I was like, kind of want something else to happen, but that's my story. That's my favorite one. Just because it's one of those stories that I've had other things happen and I've thought like, well, I was just waking up, but I mean, I was wide awake when this happened. I had just showered and everything, you know, I was getting drowsy, but I hadn't just sat up in bed. I really can't think of a reasonable explanation for this because I like to have some healthy skepticism. And so I've had a lot of experience where I'm like, well, that could have been a ghost or something, or that could be this. But this one I have absolutely no other explanation for. So, okay, I hope I kept that short because like I said, I could go for the whole rest of the live stream talking about paranormal experiences. Holland, good morning. Ooh. What time is it there right now? Have you thought about doing a tarot series? So I have considered doing a tarot series and I probably will at some point, but I need to do my own studying of the tarot first. I'm familiar with tarot, but I wouldn't say that I know enough about tarot to teach anybody about it. So I'm kind of taking my time studying it myself. Which has slowed down because I love the runes. And so those are usually my go-to and the runes are constant study. But my stomach's growling. I don't know if you guys heard that. But I probably will do tarot, but it might be like a year until I do a tarot series. Just FYI, eventually is the answer on that one. Green Series is awesome and pretty accurate. Oh, 4:35 p.m. Okay, that's not bad. Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. You'd be ahead of me. Okay, good. So it's not like crazy late at night or crazy early in the morning or anything. That's good. Cool. Yeah, I do have more stories. If you guys ever want them, I'll leave it at that story for now. But yeah, if you guys ever want more stories from my elementary school or something, I've got a ton of them. Okay. So one of the preset questions was somebody asking about smoke-free cleansing options. Specifically, if you're in like a, in a apartment or a dorm or something, where you can't use any smoke options. Yes, I actually have. I think I listed a few. It's been a while since I made the video on how to cleanse your house or your space. But if I remember correctly, I listed a few in there. My favorite options would be sound cleansing. I love sound cleansing. However, and you can use a bell, you can use, a tuning fork, you can just clap your hands. You can like even walk through your space singing and it, so, but I also understand like not everybody likes sound cleansing, because if you have little kids or pets who are very sensitive to like loud noises, you may not want to do that. So another two options would be selenite. I love selenite. You can just leave it around your space, or you can kind of walk up and down. If you have like only one piece of selenite, that's fine, like a selenite wand or something. You can just walk around and kind of scan it up and down your walls, over the floor and corners, kind of get every nook and cranny. And then of course, Florida water, since I just covered that topic on this week's video, Wednesday video, Florida water is a great option for that. And do not underestimate the power of sunlight for cleansing. It doesn't look it's still morning, so I'm not getting a really good light, but this place just gets absolutely filled with sunlight and I love it. And it's kind of like, I find my stomach's growling again. I find that I'm able to I don't feel the need to cleanse as often, just because this place gets so much sunlight. I do like to do other, sound cleansing, Florida water, things like that at random times, when I just feel like, all right, I need a more thorough cleanse. But for the most part, I feel like sunlight really takes care of it for me here. But I'm lucky. I have the way that the directions that my windows and my back door are facing. My back door is freaking huge, and then I've got the skylight also, so not everybody has that. I know my last apartment was, there was almost no natural light in that place, so I know that not everybody has that option, but if you do, make use of it. Okay, let me check the chat. Yep, yeah, exactly. Just like get the windows open, allow the sunlight to come in, allow a little breeze to rush through. It's perfect. Ghost story time videos, please. That's actually, that's actually a really good idea. I might have to consider doing that as like a series, because I could mix it in with and kind of go back and forth between doing, because I write horror stories as well. I'm working on a novel. I've been working on this novel, you guys, for so long. It will someday get done, but I'm working on it. It's my baby, so I'm really taking my time with it. But I have lots of horror short stories, so I could do a mix of like, here's fiction, here's nonfiction, something that actually happened to me, sort of thing. That would be a lot of fun, actually. My stomach is just going. My stomach is just growling like crazy right now. I'm not even hungry, so I don't know what the deal is. Yes, I love this. I love this painting. I've had this painting for years. I love it. And here's a funny story about this painting. This is The Kiss by Klimt. Let me show you guys real fast for those of you who don't know. It's this painting right here. I have a fun story about it. So somebody they knew I love this painting, and they gave me like a little decal that goes in the back of your phone. It's like for my birthday or something. And I put it on the back of my phone, and it was either like that night or the next day. I dropped that phone in a toilet. And it was done. It was done. I've never dropped my phone in a toilet before, but I think I was, actually, yeah, it was for my birthday. So I think I was out at a bar for my birthday, and I wasn't like wasted or anything, but I've been drinking, and I had my phone in my back pocket, and I went to use the restroom, and it just, fell out of the pocket. So I replaced that phone, and I got a case. I got a phone case with this on it. 2 days later, my phone got stolen. So I went, okay, this painting might be a little bit of bad luck for me. So I was actually a little concerned when I got this, but I was like, you know what? I just won't put it on my phone. This painting and my phones do not mix. Twice is enough for me. I don't need to learn my lesson a third time. So that's my funny story about that. Let's see. So what's your witch angle? What do you mean by that? Can you clarify? Because I'd love to answer you. I'm just a witch angle? Let me know. Let me know what you... I got one more Q&A. It's 8:40, so I want to make sure to, we got 20 minutes to go. I want to make sure to get this last question done that I got in advance. So I also wondered on workings that call for alcohol or vodka. Can witch hazel be substituted? A fellow practitioner told me that, and to my logical mind, it doesn't sound right. Okay. Here's my thoughts on that. So I am, as you guys know, I'm a big believer of replace things with make substitutions based on your own beliefs, on your own correspondences, things that represent those ingredients that represent those intentions to you specifically. Hi, Lena. What's up? What are you doing? So if to you, witch hazel represents the same things that alcohol or vodka do, then sure, by all means, go for it. I personally would not do that. And that is because I would say like rubbing alcohol would be a better alternative, because a lot of the times it really also depends on the context of the spell. What is the purpose of the vodka in the spell? So if the purpose of the vodka, for instance, I've seen a confidence boosting spell where you actually take a shot of vodka in it, or whatever alcohol of your choosing. Obviously, do not take a shot of witch hazel. Don't quote me on this. I think it can be drinking in like very, very small amounts, but I would not recommend taking a shot of witch hazel or rubbing alcohol. So you might just want to do a shot of water. But anyway, in that purpose, that vodka is meant to represent like boosting your confidence, letting down your guard a little, relaxing. To me, witch hazel represents, witch hazel in medicinal use can be used for skin irritations, scalp sensitivity, hemorrhoids, like acne, like you can use it as an astringent. It's also good for blood flow stuff, because it can, like if you have a minor cut, it can kind of stop the blood flow of that. So I like to think of all those things and go, does that correspond to me with the purpose of this other ingredient in this spell? So my answer to that is yes and no. Like I've said in previous videos, when you understand the purpose of something, like why you're using, or why something tells you to use a specific thing, when you understand the why, you can easily replace it. So always just kind of break that down for yourselves and go, well, what does this represent in this spell? And then go, okay, what represents that intention or that purpose to me, and make your replacements. I know there's a lot of people who they are sober, or for what their own purposes, they do not wish to even purchase any kind of liquor for any spells. Totally understand that. That's totally fine. So really use what works for you. If the purpose of it is confidence, for instance, What else makes you feel confident? If it's taking a shot of it, like, some people, maybe a chamomile tea. If people get confidence from alcohol because it relaxes them, lets them chill out a little bit, chamomile tea is also very relaxing, or maybe a lavender or something like that. It's very relaxing. It lets you just kind of unwind, so maybe do that instead. That's kind of just an example. It really depends on the context of the spell. And of course, as always, your personal beliefs and correspondences. So that's it for the preset questions. Let me get back to the chat. Okay. Specific path or a little bit of everything. Yes. Now I get what you mean. That makes total sense now. I don't know why. I'm very tired. Have I mentioned I'm very tired? I blame it on that. So I am an eclectic. I kind of do a bit of everything, because there are certain things that really work for me, and there are certain I like the laughing faces. And then there are certain things that just don't. So I like to dabble in a bit of everything. So I don't have a specific path. Definitely eclectic. I have explored specific paths, and my early days as a witch, like first getting into studying it, I started exploring Wicca, and I had various reasons where I went, this isn't quite the right fit for me, but there are a few things I like. I'll take those. And then I got that kind of like opened me up to just be like, I'm just going to study everything, which I did because I got really excited, got very, very excited, and started just trying to let my brain gobble up everything it could. So I ended up it was a little overwhelming, I'll admit, but I just kind of went out and studied as much of everything. And that just led me to the conclusion of, I don't think I can follow just one path. And so a little bit of all of the above, little bit of all of the above. Will you be doing anything more with runes? Yes. Yeah, so I'm going to do a book review on one of my favorite runes books. I think I'm going to do that example video on I'll do a rune casting for myself, and so you guys kind of get a little example of how I do it. I want to do a video just doing multiple different layouts, multiple different ways you can use the runes in for readings, because there's one where you can just draw one, you could draw three, you can draw several and read them as a sentence, you can just dump the whole bag out. There's a ton of different ways. It's just like tarot, where you can get all kinds of different spreads. It's like that. So I want to do kind of a video just focusing on that, or I may even make it kind of an Instagram and Facebook post where I just show pictures of, I don't know, I'm not sure yet on that one. I'll figure it out. But I have a couple more ideas for the runes and going over their direct correspondences as well. So, just because with the rune series, I kind of just gave a quick little blurb at the end of, oh, this could help with spells for this and that. So I might go a little more in depth into those, and also using them just in daily life. So those are my ideas for now, but I love the runes. So there will probably definitely be a lot more for the runes. Same. Yeah, I find a lot of people are kind of discovering that they are excited. They're excited by witchcraft. They're excited by magic. And so they don't want to stick to just like one thing. And I think that's beautiful, because there's just so much. There's so much out there. And whether it's a pagan path or even just studying the occult in general, looking into like Rosicrucianism, Thelema, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, like those practices are all really fascinating. And the study of magic in general is just a really enlightening thing. And so it's like, get out there, study all of it, do what you want. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, we've got 10 minutes to go. Let me know what else you guys want to know, or what you want to talk about. I'm trying to think if I have any. I'm trying to not tell a bunch of stories from my month, just because I do have my vlog coming up, And exactly, knowledge is power 100%. I'm such a big believer on that. And that's why I also say, like, do not ever make me your guys' only source of knowledge. And find people who disagree with me. Hear what they have to say, and then come to your own conclusion. I mean, you don't have to like actively seek out people who are like, Tiffany is wrong. But like I always say, like, if you guys disagree with me on stuff, that's totally fine. I expect that, especially because this isn't a science. There is no like 100% like black and white, this is right and wrong, in the sense of there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things. It's a very personal journey. So absorb all of the knowledge you can. If you don't agree with me on certain things, totally fine. I expect it. I hope for it almost, because there are things that are going to work for me that don't work for you, and vice versa. And I just kind of want to help guide people on their way to discovering who they are as a witch or as a magical practitioner, whatever you go by. So, yeah. Hey, Casey. Oh, awesome. Thank you. I was actually thinking about doing another, that's actually something I need to work on, because you said the dollar store finds. I want to do some more kind of like thrifty witch videos. If anybody has any thoughts, like specific thrifty requests, let me know. Because I do want to expand that series. It was something that when I first started the channel, I was hoping to do. That's why that video is like so early in, but I never got around to it. So I need to get back to that. Hey, Terry. Oh, thank you. Thank you. For those of you who didn't see, Terry said that they like my glasses. So I'm just flaunting the glasses right now. All right. Killing my coffee. Ooh, clothing. Ooh, that would be fun. Especially because I love altering clothes. I'm not like amazing at it or anything. I'm not like a great seamstress, but I love doing little minor alterations. Jar haul. Okay. Ooh, you guys have good. Yes. I'm so excited. Can you guys tell I'm a little calmer from the last live stream? The last live stream, I was so nervous. I was just really anxious. I was like, what if I say something wrong or embarrassing? I don't know. It's weird when you can't like edit immediately afterward. Even though even in my editing, I'm never like, ooh, gotta cut that out. That's so embarrassing. Like, do you drink specific teas when doing magic? Sometimes I do. I don't, I wouldn't say I drink them like when, actually, hold on, sorry. I'm like answering your question in my brain, but I'm also like thinking 5 things, because I was thinking, okay, let me lay it out. Number one thing I was thinking of is I haven't actually drinking any teas like during a particular spell. Actually, that's not true. I have, but more as like I'm creating a potion type deal. I more drink them on their own as like a general, like if I want to bless them in the morning for a particular outcome for the day, as more just kind of a general thing. Or yeah, I just kind of put intentions into my tea and make it certain herbs depending on what I'm trying to achieve out of it. But I was also thinking, as I was about to answer that, as I was formulating that answer, I was also thinking to myself, I really should do that. Kind of make it more a part of a ceremonial aspect of spellcraft. You know, if I can work a tea into it with the herbs that I want to make, like I should really start doing. Ooh, you gave me a really good idea. So I wouldn't say while I'm doing magic specifically, but I do every morning. Like I bless this coffee. It's not a tea, but you know what I mean. Or if I'm having tea for the day, sometimes I'll sometimes I just go off of like what flavor sounds good right now, but sometimes I will go with specific herbs, or I'll just make a regular tea and then I'll add additional herbs to it and kind of just bless it with whatever intention I need or want at the time. So yeah. Are there any witch/metaphysical stores online or in person that you like? In person, I don't know because I actually need to find some. Now that I've moved, especially there was only like one or two in Orange County when I was living down there. And I wasn't, they were fine. They were fine. But I need to look for more now that I'm back up in the Bay Area. But online, yes, especially because I do try as much as possible to shop ethically, that whether that's with herbs, or sorry, not, my brain is not working. Whether that's with crystals or, where things are created and imported from, things like that, I do try to, or also same with like animal parts, like bones or feathers, that sort of thing. I want to make sure it's all very ethical. So I do actually have several stores. Let me post the links to those in the description box. So I need to post those. I'm about to wrap this up. So I need to post, I'm just giving myself a little checklist. I need to post those, and also Asaria Sen's a YouTube channel. I will probably do those in the next few hours because as soon as I'm done with this, I gotta drive. I gotta get out to Oakland for filming. But I will get those later today posted up here. So check back. I'll probably also post them on the Facebook. Also, you guys don't forget to like the page on Facebook. I do announcements over there. And I want to get the community engaging and whatnot. So don't forget that. You can just search at Bewitching.Bemused on Facebook if you have Facebook, and you'll find the page. Yeah, I think that's everything. I do have to get driving. So I'm gonna wrap this up here. But you guys, it's been so much fun. I was so happy to do this one. And I'm so glad I was a lot less nervous, even though this time I was complaining about being tired. But next month will be perfect. I'll be the perfect balance of energy. I won't be too like nervously manic, but I also won't be tired either. It's gonna be great. Blessed be everybody, and happy Ostara again. If you want to comment like down below after we close this out and tell me more about your Ostara and things like that, I'd love to hear about it. I do come back and read everything later on. But yeah, you guys, it's been so much fun. If you missed out on anything with this one, if you think of any questions later that you're like, oh, I should have asked her that, feel free to email them to me. I can always include them in next month's video, or if it's one of those ones where I'm like, this needs its own video, I will do that as well. So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy spring. And yeah, I think that's it for now. I just realized I have no idea how to stop this live stream on my phone. So there's probably going to be an awkward moment at the very end here where I'm just like up close, like fumbling with it. Okay, you guys, I love you all so much. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back on Wednesday with a brand new video. And of course, next month, third Sunday, 8 a.m. I will see you all then. Bye. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Is it going? Is it closing?